Okay, welcome to Blades and Blasters. This is Tet. I have with me Razul as Magnus, Slip as Sintra, Aki as Prince Gensric, and Emma as Sir Malena. Um, this is a Heroes and Hardships one shot, maybe becoming a two shot or something like that. We'll see. This is a how to describe it? A setting that's kind of a mix of Dune, Game of Thrones, 40K, Star Wars, etc. A bit darker, and we're gonna get started right away. I'll read a handout. For 5 generations, House Tempest ruled the Redwyrms, a dangerous mountain range plagued with the worst of the world's electrical storms. Tempest Crown, a citadel constructed on the top of the highest peak within said mountains, was House Tempest's home. The obelisk is scarred by its early construction as the storms turned it black. Now huge metal conductors harness the power of the sky and supply House Tempest with the most important resource of all, electricity. The Redwyrms crawl with unnatural beasts, mutants, and raiders. Travel to and from the great citadel is done with care and only at certain times of the planet's cycle around Heaven's Pride, the local star. The days and nights differ little as heavy black clouds sit low and great lightning strikes illuminate the sky before being pulled by one of the 1,000 electro rods for consumption. Today is the beginning of the 3 months known as Fire Days. Electrical storms are near constant, and there are too many strikes for the electrorods to collect, making any travel outside the citadel suicide. Even the Tempest's rubberized bodysuits cannot withstand the blast of such magnitude. Lord Gensric the Third braved the Redwyrms on a holy crusade against Gracia Stormdancer in a holy war, and was said to be struck down by a lightning strike that made the great Red Lake itself. His body was never recovered, and the mausoleum in his name rests empty. Today was no special day, but Lord Gensric the Fifth viewing the crystal. Lord Gensric's the Fourth's viewing crystal had been used. It was a message from afar, one sent with great importance, as such esoteric technology was difficult and expensive to use. House Tempest's court has been summoned to the Lord's throne room. Something important was amiss. Let me just switch you over there. You have congregated in the Lord's throne room. There's a guard by the door, waiting patiently, just idly standing there, with a large two-handed blade sitting before him, with the point set into the stone floor. He ignores most of you, not saying anything, as you all begin to meander in, and I'll let you guys go ahead and kick it off with some roleplay between yourselves.
Sintra, the court sorcerer, enters in her elaborate garb, her skin slightly ashier than a typical human's. Her hair so long it looks like it might have been growing for several decades without being cut. She strides forward, giving a brief nod to Magnus and to Milna, and meeting eyes with the prince. And how do you do this day, young prince?
I do well. And you, Sintra?
As well as I always do. The storms outside, they rage. And yet here and inside, all is relatively calm, or so I thought. Have you heard something to the contrary?
I have not. My father has not deemed to inform me of what is going on yet. We will see when we reach the throne room.
Indeed we shall. Patience is always rewarded. And what of you, Magnus or Milna? Have you caught word of something amiss?
Smile, he leans down a little, his giant size looming over the group. Sorceress, always the tough questions. I hear many things, but none that are pertinent right now. And then he sort of glances over at the prince and says, Prince, I hope you are doing well.
Magnus? I
At
am.
your service, Lord.
Milna walks a pace behind the prince, watching carefully everything around him as they travel to the throne room for this meeting. Passing the Tempest Crown guard, she watches him very closely, just for any quick movements or anything towards the prince in case something were amiss. However, once she has been spoken to, she snaps out a little bit of her wariness. It's not always my duty to know the answer to such questions, and unfortunately in this case, I know nothing. However, I am sure we'll find out soon enough, since it's been kept such a secret.
Cintra nods and she places a hand on Milna's shoulder. Of course, one must always know one's place, but to protect our prince properly, one must not only attune our body, but also our ears. And she looks at Magnus. These things that you say you hear may seem of no account, but I assure you that nothing is meaningless.
Wise as always, Cintra.
And she nods in her typical kind of condescending way.
Yeah, I think Milna kind of brushes your hand off of her shoulder after it being on there for a moment. Yes, as always, I will be sure to take your wisdom into account and do my best to react accordingly.
You young people think that you know what is best, but when you have lived as long as I have, you will come to understand that your elders should be given heed and not mere
Probably
patronized.
quietly, but because he's so big, it is pretty loud when he says, wise words from a respected elder.
The funny thing is, you guys know that you probably know about Cintra, but she looks like she's no older than in her 20s.
She has, however, made mention of changing Prince Gensric's diapers on multiple occasions.
Indeed, I don't know what I would have done without you. Gives a rather half-hearted smile at that. But I think we are needed, aren't we? And, Milna, do try not to be so tense. I know your duties make you apt to such things, but there's no need for it in the house.
Of course, my prince.
Magnus, as maybe they shuffle away a little, Magnus will try to get over to Milna and says, tense is good for a bodyguard. And sort of gives him gives Milna a reassuring nod and a smile.
Milna gives a half smile back at Magnus and nods her head as the group continues walking forward towards Lord Gensric.
Yeah, you walk down the hall. There's chains. This is an old hold. one of the oldest on the planet. And your family, Gensric, is one of the most prestigious of all the houses. And you see your father sitting on the throne. He's wearing a high-collared shirt with ruffles around the neck, and his Tempest crown around his head. Above him, as usual, hangs some crow's cages. One currently has a man in it that his arms are hanging out of the bars. He's bloodied. You have no idea who this is or why he's there, but he's hanging there. And then there's another one with a skeletal remains in it. And he looks up at Lord Gensric, your father. Ah, son. Loyal retainers, come forward. Yes, I have summoned you. And you probably have not seen your father in weeks. He tends to keep to himself. This room is usually forbidden for anyone to come in without an audience. And it goes for you as well. He looks up at you as you approach.
And Prince Gensric, of course, exceedingly well educated in etiquette and such, approaches as whatever is suitable, a bow presumably. And my lord, I hope the circumstances that you have summoned us for are not dire.
They are both dire and glorious. You can only tell me which, son. But come, partake of this wine. He waves his hands, and there's a table next to him with a pitcher and glasses for everyone.
Milno
Okay.
Milno will walk forward and pour a glass, tasting it first, and presuming she doesn't instantly die or feel in pain, she will pass a glass to the prince and pour glasses for the others as well.
And as she does, Prince Gensric takes the glass, smells the red swirling in the cup. My thanks, Milna.
She nods towards you.
Any chance the chair will collapse under Magnus? Should I stand?
No, you're fine. You can sit on it.
Okay.
The Lord, after you've been served your wine, and no, you do not feel ill after drinking it, Gensric, well, it is... I have been contacted by the Cloister. They say it is your time for testing, to see if you can become an heir of one of the great houses. What do you think?
Yeah. Prince Gensric, he is normally quite stoic, quite serious, and very rarely aloof. But when his father brings up the idea of his child to become heir, he lights up a little bit, but quickly catches his demeanor as he turns to his father. Truly, you think I am ready?
It is not for me to decide. It is them to decide when it is time. You are 18? I took the same test when I was your age.
Then I would be quite glad to accomplish this, father.
18 already. How the time does fly.
You cannot tell his age. Crone? Is this what you're saying to me? You've lost that much of your memories.
And as much time as I do, looking into the future. The present occasionally loses focus. I come out of my trance and look around, and suddenly the adorable young creature that toddled about my knees is now the strapping lad. And yet you are right. She looks him up and down. He has been taught well. It is time. Time to test his mettle. Will his lineage prove strong? She pauses.
Yeah, Gensric shoots eyes towards her for a moment, not really changing his demeanor, but quite curious over the subject.
If you mean because he is woman-born, I think it serves some advantage over those of the Vats of Kyber. He kind of gives Melina a slight look.
No, indeed, I agree that the old ways are best. I see greatness in Gensric. I have since he was a young lad. I have confidence in him, if I speak truly.
I certainly intend to show you that your confidence is well placed.
Well, good. Because my son must lead you on foot to the throne of bones where the cloisters wait. And you would know this because of the time of year. Travel outside the citadel is extremely dangerous, and you can't use flying skiffs to get anywhere. Gensric just stands there. You might die on the way. It is
Of
possible.
course. Well, it would not be much of a test, I suppose, if there was no risk of death, would it?
Oh, that isn't even the test, I don't think. Perhaps they have added it because they wish to really see your metal, son. For these days are dangerous, and the Redwyrms, as you know. I do have an idea, though. There are scavengers in the mountains that I have made acquaintances with, alliances. They may know secret ways through the mountains that will keep you safe. In fact, I have arranged a meeting for you there.
That is quite fortuitous. Your aptitude towards such things is, as always, astonishing, Father.
I am a lord of a house. One day you will know what that means, and you will need to use your contacts and your mind as well as your sword and your dick.
Gensric smiles as he sips the wine. Of course, Father. I think I will do quite well in all regards.
We will see. The rest of you will go with him. His fate will be your fate. Your fate will be his fate. Guard him with your lives.
Milna
Quietly,
bows.
Magnus raises his glass to that and empties it.
Yeah, Milna bows. Of course, my lord.
And Sintra keeps looking at Prince Gensric for a moment, almost as if she didn't process what the Lord had said, but then she comes to herself. Of course. House Tempest is, and always has been, my life's only purpose.
Good. Don your storm suits and leave as soon as you can. Be gone now. I need my silence and privacy while I think on the future and what will come when my son arrives, the heir of my house.
Of course. Thank you, Father. I will do my utmost. He gives another bow and proceeds to leave.
Sintra gives a slight bend of the knee and a bow, meeting her lord's eyes briefly before turning to leave, following the prince.
Milna is close behind.
A clarification question for the GM about
Sure.
Magnus.
Yeah, sure.
All three other characters are described as being part of or in direct service of House Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
Magnus is described as being in the service of House Blackrain.
Yeah, I changed it. It's Tempest. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
isn't
Sorry about
like
that.
okay, got it,
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, following. If any of them didn't finish their drink as they get up, Magnus will take one step because it's all it takes over and just finish them.
Yeah,
of
Milna
course.
definitely finishers.
Yeah, Gensric's was only lightly drank from.
Yeah, with his giant ham fist, he'll grab it, drink it, put it back down quietly, surprisingly, and then follow the rest. Booming steps.
Do we know the way to this?
Yeah. So you there's these cyborgs called Wayfinders, and they should be able to lead you there.
Now, I didn't write it down. Who are we headed to?
You are headed to what's called the Cloister. The Cloister are a religious sect that protects the old king's house, which is no longer there. It's House Invictus. There's no living members of House Invictus left. Somehow these priests have continued to run the politics of the planet. And they still test the heirs, which is an old tradition from before your people even settled this planet 5 generations ago. When I say your people, I mean humans. So they test every basically person that is supposed to be the heir of their house for genetic anomalies. Nobody's really exactly sure why. What they're looking for most times, but probably about half of them fail. And you're going to the old King's Hold. It's called the Throne of Bones, or House Redwater is another. Or I'm sorry, Redwater Keep is another one name for it. But
Did you say that we were going to find the Wayfinders?
no, the Wayfinder is just a servant of the house that can take you to where you're going. He would take you to the meeting with the scavengers that can help you get through the mountains.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, sorry.
We're going from Wayfinders, are taking us to scavengers who are...
Yeah, the Wayfinders are just, they're like cyborgs.
Okay. What do we know about these scavengers?
Why don't you give me a lore roll?
Yeah, I think Gensric would be curious about this as well.
Do you foreseen this?
Actually, yes. Can Sintra use her... What's the ability? How often can she use her looking into the future thing?
You cast the spell. There's no specific how many times you can use it.
Okay. I think that she would try to use that to see if
Perfect.
these scavengers could be trusted. How
So
do I cast the spell?
here's what you do. So you have to choose what level it is. So the potency, this spell's fairly simple. It only can do increased potency. So if you do a level 1, you get 2 benefits. If you do a level 2, you get 4. Level 3, you get 6, etc. There's technically no cap. What happens is it's very much like ranged combat. For every level, you're rolling against a D10 that can explode as difficulty.
Just pretty knowledgeable. I think she's just going for a little bit of an edge, so I'll just cast it at the base level.
Okay, so just give me a psyche roll. I think that spell is actually in your combat macro.
Oh, okay.
I think it says just psyche. Yep, it's under weapons.
Got it. Okay. So I will... Oh, I have to choose a target.
Oh, just point at somebody, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It'll probably add
And
their
just
mental
put one
defense.
spell effect?
Yep, just one.
Okay.
Okay, so actually
Wow.
that was against a 4. 24 is the whoever's magic defense. So yeah, you succeeded. Oh, 3 explosions. What's your focus?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's my focus.
It's 3, I think, but
Where do I find
that's
the
under
focus?
fate.
Yes, it's 3.
Okay, so the way magic works, one thing is if there's 2 ways to critically fail. You can roll too well, which means you're basically pulling too much magical energy. So the way that works is if you have more dice explode than you have focus, you critically fail.
So,
But you didn't, so.
no.
And then on the difficulty as well. So say if you had a difficulty and that difficulty die exploded more than that also will cause a critical failure. So you do so you get 2 benefits on your lore roll.
Glory.
Very good.
I believe that's the first magical spell rolled in H&H. So
Ooh.
okay, that is a success. So I'm gonna whisper you something.
Mm-hmm.
Standard difficulty number. Because 65 seems really high, but I don't. Yeah.
Yes, it is very high.
Yeah,
that's
because
the problem.
because
Yeah.
three dice exploded. That's why it's so
Sintra
high.
may be too good for her own good.
Yeah. I can't wait to test out the caster I made because the spell search system is really, really interesting.
I did look at her abilities, so I know that she has that one ability that can help in that situation.
Oh, the magical training or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The average of 10d10 is 65, isn't it?
Well, with explosions, it changes it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. True.
But I'm just saying, yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Because usually the average of a 1d10 is 5.5? Actually, 55 would be the average, right? Of
Mhm.
10d10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm guessing she knows something about them. Or at least is about to.
Yeah, she, as you're walking toward the place where the suits are stored, she kind of stops and just her eyes start to glow red a little bit as she stares, into nothing. You kind of know that she's looking into the future, or catching glimpses of it is what she's described it as before, and trying to process that, trying to make it make sense with what they know at the present. And she's told you it's very complicated and very confusing and hard to describe. She stops and says, yes, you may not be aware that these scavengers, they have blood that stems from House Tempest itself. But I do not trust their loyalty, for they were cast out long ago. We must be wary. Should they attempt something untoward, kidnap, ransom, try to raise themselves back into what they might perceive as their rightful place, as I sense great bitterness and resentment there.
I see. Well, then we had best amend that on the way. They could prove useful in the future.
A bit of honey could do more than vinegar, and yet I am glad that we will have plenty of vinegar on our side. And she looks to Magnus and Mjolnir.
Cracks a few knuckles and you can noisily hear all the armor clatter and creak.
Milna is finishing suiting up for the mission and has all her weapons that she's checking. I'll be close to the prince's side to ensure nothing ill befalls him. Thank you for your warning.
Of course. Just to be sure not to act without command, please. If
Of
we
course.
can win them over, it would be far more advantageous to us.
Of course, Lord, you are the head of this expedition. But she kind of looks over his head at Milna meaningfully.
Yeah, of course. And she kind of like nods at you.
The Prince Gensric, for his part, has his kit pretty much set. Quickly equipping it as they talk, presumably. He has his lightning rapier, which he kind of holds to the light. A small spark arcing down it here and there before it goes silent again, and he sheaths it. Do not forget, I am not without my own talent as well. Should they wish to fight, we will give it to them.
Grabbed out of his either armory or locker a lightning conduit, heavy weapon, power sword, a knife, and a shotgun.
Tra just pulls her suit with some distaste over her court clothes and brings no weapons other than the staff she always carries, which the top is fashioned in an intricate point, rather like a lightning rod itself.
Yeah, I think you should have got another bonus, or you should have got a bonus on your magic roll from your focus. I didn't remember that, but yeah. So,
I'm kind of glad I didn't.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have to use it, yeah, but it's gear level 2, so you get a bonus.
Okay, cool.
So cool. You guys head towards, you gear up and get your storm suits on, which are these rubberized suits. A bit form-fitting. Some of them have different aspects to them. Some of you, they're bulkier and can take more damage. They have different like layers of other pieces of armor. Never metal per se, but lacquered rings and things like that for combat. Standing at one of the exits, you see this kind of gangly man thing, and you know it's a Tempest Wayfinder. They're more computer than they are person, and this one just stands there waiting for your command. You know that he would be the one that would lead you over there. These things are usually outfitted with these internal hollow maps of specific places where they're going to go.
In the military, would I be able to determine that this one is ours and hasn't been tampered with, as in, you know,
Yeah.
thunder, lightning code, some sort of authorization?
You could go over and just punch in the buttons and it'll tell you its next mission.
Okay. Just want to make sure it wasn't, you know,
Sabotaged, yeah. You go over to it. You can give me... Do you have sysops? Do you have that? That's under knowledge.
I think there's a Russian method of hitting something hard until it works.
Well, not to turn it on. You can turn it on. That's simple.
Yes, I do, actually. I have sysops.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that, just to make sure you can see that it hasn't been tampered with. You can roll it from your sheet, or it doesn't really matter.
Trained, yes. No mods.
That's that would fail. So just so you know, this is a PL2 game, so all difficulties are raised 1 level. So challenging, which is the lowest target number, is 21, and then difficult is 29. Unlike a PL1 game where challenging is 14, difficult is 21, desperate is 29. So. Yeah, you're unable to tell if it's sabotage, but I mean it's in working order for sure.
Yeah. The lowest die gets dropped? Is that how it works?
Yes. So basically, if you are so you have 2 in knowledge, I'm assuming, and you have 1 sysops. So you roll your total and drop the skill.
Got it.
And if I ever give you a benefit, that's a rolled die only, so that'll get dropped too. And then if you ever take a hardship, you keep 1 less die. So those are the two big modifiers that happen. Yeah, so it's completely on task. You can't tell if it's been sabotaged, but you doubt it. Just as you kind of are tinkering around. I am ready for duty.
Magnus like leans back up because he had to like hunch down to even interact with it. Looks over almost like a bit. I think people who've spent time with him could figure out that he hasn't figured out whether it'd been messed with or not, and he sort of half smiling, half jokingly says, looks good."
I am functioning at 100% capacity, ready to deploy.
Very well, Wayfinder. On our way then.
It turns and kind of gangly walks forward in front of you. It has no weapons or anything like that. It says, "Follow my path through the storms. We will hug the ridge of the Redwyrms."
Thing isn't wearing a suit or anything, is it?
No.
Oh boy, this is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, Gensric kind of looks towards the presumably gate-like door and pulls his helmet down. Turns to the others. I hope you're all prepared. Try not to die.
Thinking is, yeah, and Magnus would say, "I'll go second, the prince goes third." And then he reaches his massive tree-like arm up and taps the lightning rod that's affixed to his armor. "Best to stay close to me and I take the hits."
Very well.
Milna will be close to the prince, as always.
So presumably it sounds like Cintra up front, the sorceress who can predict the future. Seems like a good idea.
Sintra. Well, okay. I thought Magnus. Did you not say you were up front?
Magnus is very respectful towards Sintra and does not deign to decide where she goes. He did say that the Wayfinder goes first because he's the Wayfinder. He has to tell us where to go. Second is Magnus, so he can take the lightning bolts that would hit the Wayfinder, and then third is Gensric with the same logic that if a
I didn't
lightning
realize you
bolt
were
comes
counting
down,
the Wayfinder.
Yeah. So Sintra tends to be slow, almost annoyingly slow. She pauses frequently. She sort of loses track of where she is occasionally. For that very reason that she is always trying. It's like she's in the now, but also, seeing a place that isn't in the now. And if anything, she lags behind. She knows this. She's not going to try to put herself in front. You may have to occasionally stop and wait for her to catch up.
Magnus would only do that if asked by the prince. Otherwise, we might lose Sintra.
Yeah, Milna will keep an eye towards the back on Sintra.
As the portcullis is raised and you look out into the dark skies, you see lightning just strike probably every minute. Close enough by that you can see where it hits. Not anywhere, closer than a couple hundred yards, but it hits and you just see just like this black, just the red clay of the ground just blacken underneath it, and just there's no trees, there's no nothing. They've all been destroyed by lightning, or they never ever grew here. There are a mountain range to the left, and the Wayfinder just says, or you're on top of a peak, but there's the crooks and crannies of different parts of the mountain that the Wayfinder is planning to take you. He turns and looks to Gensric. "Are you ready, my prince?"
Of course, lead the way.
It begins like it's at a slow jog. It never moves slow. Its arms and legs are like too long for its body. It's kind of strange looking that way. And it just kind of starts running. It will slow down if you order it to do so, but
Yeah, Gensric is fine with getting quick, going quickly to not get hit by lightning. He wants to get to cover ASAP, of course, and remain there and get to these smugglers quickly.
Milna is right alongside Gensric, but also taking a look back just to make sure that Sintra's able to keep pace.
Sintra has a very odd pace in this storm. She'll stand still for like a whole 10 seconds and then just start running for no reason. And then if you look behind her, occasionally you'll just see lightning strike the ground where she would have been a few seconds ago. And so after a time, you can tell that her strange pace must be based on her trying to predict where lightning is going to strike next.
Okay. Please give me either I'm going to let you choose, athletics, acrobatics.
I think I will very happily go acrobatics.
Is this everybody?
Yes, everybody.
Let me look at my skills.
You want to get a 20?
But Ted, couldn't
21.
we just dodge the lightning?
Can't dodge an arrow. You think you can dodge a lightning?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Okay, athletics.
Can I try to do the same prediction skill to enhance this? Because Sintra really sucks at
Yeah,
this
sure.
stuff.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll do the
Hey.
psyche first.
Yeah, Prince Gensric isn't particularly, I mean, he's agile at the very least, but he's not strong. Not fast.
Yeah, you can add 2 benefits. Oh, roll a 1d10, I guess, actually. Get a C, or I can.
Roll a 1d10.
Well, I got it for you. It was okay. Yeah, just seeing if you beat your. Yep. So you can roll 2, add 2 benefits to your whatever. Okay.
Oof. Would it be possible, since I imagine Gensric failed his roll?
He did.
I have the Guardian ability.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. If you want to take the hit for him.
Yeah.
Can I ask why mine only came out at 9?
9?
Because my numbers
What's
are
your-
9, 6, and 9.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's your
Who were
stat?
dropped?
Did you do a benefit?
I did 2 benefits, and that's
Yeah.
why I got to roll 3.
That's
Oh.
why 2 benefits are going to
Oh,
drop off.
Yeah, it doesn't change your keep, does it?
Nope.
Just
Oh,
rolled.
it doesn't change the keep.
Nope.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So she rolled about as well as she
Yeah, Magnus basically grabs the lightning strike and throws it away. But yeah, so that's basically what happens. Magnus is running, and he has this huge rod off his back that is designed just to do this, to attract lightning strikes, to fuel this massive weapon that's essentially a flamethrower that shoots out electricity instead of magma. And that's what happens. One just comes and he's just kind of right in the fray in the middle of you all, and it hits and just goes into his charging pack on his back. Gensric and Sintra, you're not so lucky as the lightning comes striking down on you. Melina, why don't you describe how you jump in front of him and your prince, and I'll roll the environmental damage for you.
Yeah, so she feels the electricity begin to prickle, and her hairs begin to stand up on the back of her neck. She instinctively begins to move quickly to try to avoid this lightning that's coming down, but she sees Gensric is moving a bit slowly, so she quickly changes course and dives, pushing him out of the way as lightning comes down and strikes her.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, as Gensric kind of tumbles, presumably kind of under a bit of a ledge of rock, almost giving him the cover needed to not take any any of the superheated air around the lightning bolt. He turns to see Milna taking the hit.
Yeah, so, okay. So you're going to take environmental damage, and how environmental damage works is this is damage that you take from traps, lightning strikes perhaps, that has no skill to them, so there's no skill roll. Basically what it is each environmental effect, 1 through 10, is how many dice you roll for damage. So what I would do is Melna, so I would like you to roll so it would be his acrobatics actually, so I'm going to go from his acrobatics, and then I'm going to roll this. So I'll roll 4d10, and it's going to explode, and then whatever, so because it's environmental 4, and then the post roll damage is 4 times the effect, so it's going to be 16, so we'll see how bad it is. 27, so it's going to be 43 versus... I'm going to let you go ahead and roll, 43, we'll just go with what you had. So, that is 8. That is not enough to hurt you. Plus your, I don't know, what's your other soak? 10. Yeah, it hits you and it soaks into your storm suit. So how does that look?
Yeah, so as the prince tumbles and looks back towards her, you can see electricity crackling over her suit, but she's able to stand up quickly, and besides just breathing heavily and looking towards you to make sure you're okay, she's completely fine.
Yeah, he, of course you can't see under the helmet, but he does seem concerned, of course, knowing that the helmet's there's the one reason he's able to actually display that as far as he's concerned. But when he sees it dispersed by your armor, essentially, he breathes a bit of a sigh of relief inside his helmet and stands up quickly. Thank you, as always, Milna. Don't know what I'd do without you. Let's go.
We need to keep moving. She looks back towards Sintra. Is she okay?
Probably not. So, Sintra, what you can do, you can spend a fate point to add 20 to your roll. So, your roll could be 29 instead of a 9, which means it would miss. Otherwise, you're going to take, let's see, you're going to take 43 damage minus 9. So, that's 36, and then minus whatever your soak is. What is your soak? Your soak is 8. So, 36. What did I say?
Yeah. She'll have to spend a fate point.
24 minus 8 is 26.
Yeah, 26, so that would be enough to... You would have to roll a... You wouldn't have to roll a death roll, but you would take a wound. So it's not quite double, so it's up to you.
At this point, as far as they've gone, if they're gonna have to make this roll a bunch more times, she'll just be dead.
No, this is
Agnes to carry her.
No, this is it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay then. She'll spend the fate point.
Okay.
We'll say that's like she's struggling because this method of trying to predict and then run is just, it sounds good in theory, but your mental reflexes combined with your physical reflexes, sometimes your reaction time's just not that good. And she's been making it, but then just after Milna takes the shot for Sintra, another huge bolt comes down, and Sintra's just standing there, and it looks like she's not even in the present, and then all of a sudden she just takes one step forward, and the shot hits right where she was standing, and even she looks back super startled, and while usually she has this sort of unflappable quality, as she looks at the charred spot on the ground where the lightning hit, everyone there can tell she's a little bit shaken.
Yeah,
Sintra, to hurry.
She nods and then continues to walk forward.
The Wayfinder, this way, and it just takes off at a sprint.
Yeah, Gensric again, despite his less than powerful physique, does his best to keep up with the Wayfinder without instructing it to slow down at all.
Yeah, it's very fast moving. Over the next hour, you avoid these lightning strikes by staying underneath the outcroppings and rocks and that sort of thing until you get to this what looks like to be a cave, and the Wayfinder enters and then stops. Destination reached.
What is this place, Wayfinder?
This is my destination. Destination reached.
I don't think you'll get much more out of it. Very well, Wayfinder, stand by.
Always.
So Gensric instructs it to stand by. Wait here for us. We will need you to guide us back. Do not answer to anyone else.
Yes, master?
Magnus drinks from a giant flask.
Milna begins looking around, searching for anyone else that might be here or might be hidden, since she knows that.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Yeah, Gensric is expecting people as well, so I think everybody's going to be looking around.
$23 is a success. 22 is also a success. You both see shadows around where you are, kind of staying hidden. But one walks out and plainly after a while. This individual has a full mask on and a hood. It's completely impossible to tell who or what it is. It speaks through a, mask, so its voice is modulated. You are the prince come to see the scavengers. The deal with your father, yes? I am Galactus.
Indeed, I am Prince Gensric the Younger. I presume you are the ones my father has sent me to meet.
You are looking for passage through the mountains without being destroyed by the lightning, yes?
Indeed, we are.
What does Galactus and his kin get for helping this boy?
Well, as our sorceress Sintra has informed me, it seems you have ties to House Tempest. Am I wrong?
Long ago.
Might I ask the circumstance that led you here, then?
Cast out by grandfather of you. Now we toil in the under layers of the Redwyrms. A meager survival.
Indeed. But I am curious the purpose this grandfather would have had for exiling, essentially, if it is not too much to ask. If anything, it may help me help you.
Our grandparents state that we were exiled for no reason other than being pretender to crown. I cannot validate any of this.
Well then, regardless of the purpose of your grandparents' exile, so long as you and your kith do not have grudges or misintentions towards House Tempest, I am on my way to my trial as heir. Should this succeed, Obviously, I will have a great deal more influence than I already do. And my father seems to value your aid as well. I would have no problem assisting you in your future endeavors, be it here, should you wish to stay, or perhaps back at House Tempest.
Return to the Citadel we would. This is a meager life, as we state. Why don't you give me a, so your persuasion is based on your status, so if you want to give me a status roll, that would be...
And I think I have one benefit to all status, right?
Yeah, you have, social standing, and I think, check what your gear does.
Let's see. I have the courage injector, but I don't see...
Okay, so nothing. Okay, so you have 2 benefits.
Cool. Alrighty.
Because he has authority, so any persuasion roll he does with status.
He's the heir, after all.
Maybe.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's good. Very well. We hold you to your bargain. I take you across the way.
Very well. And let it be known that Prince Gensric the Younger does not take his promises idly. I will fulfill my end of this bargain.
We shall see. And he or she leads you into the caves. One sec. Where is it? Wayfinder's not coming. Well, that's not good.
Don't worry, I'm like zoomed up, so I can't really see much.
Don't look! Don't look! Galactus takes you into these tunnels, and we will leave at the change of the gate. You should rest, sleep. I will collect you later.
The change of the gate?
There are dangers in these underlayer of the mountains. We dare not leave until they are settled.
Very well. I trust your judgment on this. Thank you again for your help.
Yeah, it turns and walks away into the darkness. There are as you kind of go into the cave, the underside of everything is there's all these skulls, and the skulls are actually sculptures into the rock, kind of like you see here, Sans dragon thing. So you see a bunch of things like that everywhere is what you can see from the light. It's extremely cold down here. And Galactus leaves you to rest. You guys can roleplay amongst yourselves after running through the lightning storm.
Gensric would find whatever suitable place there is to rest as they wait, and kind of look to the others, observe them as they presumably also finally relax a little bit.
Galactus had a way about him that reminded me somewhat of the Wayfinder. I wonder if these people are still human.
I think it matters little. As long as they assist us, my end of the bargain will be upheld.
She nods.
I
It
don't
is-
want. Yeah, Magnus butts. He comes out of the dark back as he was checking something or taking a pee. You don't know, and sort of just butts in to the conversation and says, "I don't want to be presumptuous, but did he say? Maybe he says, did it say they were exiled for a claim to the throne?"
Something along those lines, perhaps.
It is said, and my visions confirm that they are of the blood, or were. And yet, their manner suggests to me that they are no longer fit heirs. That is certain.
Did your father, the Lord, mention at all how he is paying them?
No. Simply that they would be assisting us and that they have been in contact. But I will trust my father's judgment.
Of
As
course,
should you.
of course.
The bitterness here runs deep as a river. We must be on our guard. Sleep should come only with someone standing watch.
I will watch. Milna hasn't really relaxed at any point since we've kind of reached this destination. She's been very vigilant and watching out for everything and keeping an eye on the dark corners of this cavern. She already wasn't planning on resting much anyway, and so she's happy to volunteer to keep watch.
Gensric kind of turns when she offers this. Nonsense. You will rest first. You had the most troublesome way here. I expect you will need the rest. Besides, I would trust you better in the dark of night than with the storm raging.
As a gen mod, do I still need like the same normal amounts of sleep and everything?
Yes, your genetic modifications didn't change any of that.
Okay.
You've been enhanced for
clear-
combat, basically.
To be clear, we've been out of the city for an hour and a half. It's not like we've been on our feet for 12 hours and it's nightfall, right?
Yeah, you haven't been gone that long.
Okay.
Prince, I assure you I am quite alright, and unharmed. However, if you order it, then I will... And she kind of like seems a little uncomfortable. I will do my best to rest some.
Indeed, I certainly do. It is not the concern over your harm or not at the moment, but your readiness to act. I would rather you be rested well. I fear we may have a great deal to deal with on the way to this trial. I want you at peak performance.
Very well, my prince. And she'll kind of sit on the ground against a wall and start resting. But she's definitely very closely listening to the noises around her.
Yeah, Gensric for his part, would we have, like, a few simple things, a pack,
Oh, sure.
perhaps?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so he, rummages through his pack or whatever, is the planet fairly hot or cold?
It's fairly... Well, where you're from is fairly cold because you are on top of a mountain range.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of they probably don't worry about fires all that much, do they? Wood probably wouldn't be worth waiting.
There's no wood really to be had because you're too high and the lightning just destroys it if there was any.
Yeah. So then Gensric as well kind of sits back, keeps an eye out, but probably after a few minutes he would kind of examine some of these carvings without straying,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Yeah, you can give me a lore roll.
Yeah, for sure. I will do that.
gonna make this a difficult one, so you got to get a 29.
Hopefully he rolls real well then.
Bonus for Magnus accompanying him.
Are you trained?
I have lore 1, yes.
Yeah, you can roll an extra die there, Aki.
Alright.
It'll be dropped, but
Yeah, nah.
yeah.
So he's not sure, but he is nonetheless fascinated by. I assume they look fairly ancient at the very least.
Oh yeah, they look very old. Definitely nothing that these people probably did anytime soon, at least.
Stone made? They're stone made, I assume.
Yeah,
I'm not beyond.
they're made
actual
out
effective
of the sides of the cavern. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll check how
Yeah.
porous or hard the stone is here.
Oh sure. I mean, you can easily chip away at it if you really wanted
Okay.
to.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how hardy these people might or might not be.
Yeah, I mean, these could have been made with just simple implements like a chisel. If
Chisel and pickaxe, yeah.
Yeah, Gensric runs a hand along one of the skulls, kind of muttering to himself. I wonder how ancient these things are.
Because it's obvious Magnus didn't hear because he's looms way higher up and has his helmet on and kind of like leans over. Sir, what?
Nothing. Just
Yes, sir.
posing my thoughts.
Magnus will play with his conduit gun because he understands he is currently on guard duty. So he will have it out, and he also likes displaying it. He's really proud about it, or proud of it, and he thinks it's an intimidating weapon.
Of course he does.
Yeah, of course. right?
Everyone's proud of their massive rod.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so I suppose we kind of relax in the area and rest up until it is
Not
a suitable
Magnus.
time to actually sleep.
It'll be like the Terminator scene where the Terminator just stands there, still. But he will have essentially the gun out, and just look out and just keep turning.
yeah, I assume it has like a sling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah, Gensric would prefer shifts, essentially, for watch, rather
his
than
decision.
having one person do the whole thing, of course.
Magnus will not ask for shift relief, but he will do it if I've told.
Yeah, pretty much. Gensric wants you all well rested. It's never really clear if he's genuinely concerned about you and kind-hearted, or if he's pragmatic. He kind of keeps to himself in a general regard.
you spend what you would assume is the night. You left probably in the afternoon sometime. Sleeping, resting. It's not particularly comfortable. You're in just a flat ground. But the weird thing is, it's getting on. It's, 8 hours, 12 hours. Nobody's ever come back.
Gensric waits and waits, and
We have a timer to get to the cloister?
No. Nothing was ever
Okay.
told you specifically.
It just seems
Till he's
odd.
19.
Yeah, he can't turn. His birthday. His birthday's next week. Cannot
a
know.
long trip. It's a big mountain.
Yeah, the thing is, like
But
Sip
yeah.
was gonna say, it's just weird that they're not coming back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would actually turn to her in that case after it's been quite a while. Sintra, could you perhaps look into what's going on? Seems quite odd that they have not returned yet. Although, I suppose whatever is going to happen might take some time. I did not think it would be so long, though.
Hunter's been sitting in a sort of meditative stance, and as he speaks to her, it takes a moment for her to respond. She turns to him, blinks a couple of times, as if trying to understand what he just said. Ah, yes. I see. It's... Some time has passed, has it?
Indeed. If you are able, I would very much like to better understand the situation of our friends here.
She nods and she says, I will do my utmost, as always. So she'll do another psyche roll.
Just remember your benefit if you're going to use your staff.
Now, what skill would she be trying to use?
Probably
if
perception, I would think.
Yeah, perception.
Yeah, that's what I would
I think
think.
she and her. What's her normal? I gotta look at what her normal perception is. Probably not great, so I might be going for something bigger. Yeah, her perception's is 0. So no matter what she rolls, the highest she can get is a 10, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unless, they can explode off that roll, I would say.
Let me see if there's anything else that would be kind of applicable. Like,
Yeah, Gensric's
something
not
deep.
sure.
Career? Do you have anything in career?
Yes.
I would say career as a diviner.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So what's the difficulty at the base? and
Zero.
the second
Zero
level?
base. You can, if it makes you target someone, that's fine, but we'll just take that away. So base is 0, and then your first one's D10, second one's 2D10, third one's 3D10, and so on.
So she'll add 2 to that. Career. Is career mental?
Knowledge.
Yeah.
So you did a 2.
Yeah.
So then we gotta do 2D10 for the difficulty. Okay, you're fine.
Alright, that's her total. I put two benefits.
Okay, so what are you trying to accomplish exactly?
She's trying to determine, she's kind of looking just barely into the future to see if there's some commotion, like she's looking around her.
Mhm.
Is someone going to enter? Is someone going to attack? Are they going to find someone dead? You know, basically that. Like, sometimes she looks farther, but right now she's just looking within. Maybe she looks in the first 5 minutes, and then the next 10 minutes, and then the next 60 minutes, trying to find something that will give her a clue as to what's wrong.
Just sitting there, legs crossed. What is his name? Like Doctor Strange style.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she stares ahead, past Prince Gensric, through Prince Gensric, her eyes glowing brighter and brighter.
Yeah, I whispered you something.
Her eyes kind of glow, and they glow brighter and brighter till they kind of flash, almost blinding you. And then they settle down and to almost normal. And she blinks and she says, I see a skull, a path leading to a skull, a giant skull, and as we enter its mouth, I see death.
The path to avoid, then, I suppose. Or do you not see any other way?
Does it feel more like something to be avoided, or it's like a body?
It's
Like
it's
something to
it
discover.
feels like the rot of death. It's not something specific, but you smell the grave.
Smell
Yeah.
rot. Yeah. She said, it's not so much a warning as a discovery.
Oh, then. Perhaps we will have to investigate either way. If something has happened to our new friends, then There is no point in waiting. We must at least discern the situation.
She nods and stands up, kind of wipes, brushes off her robes. I
Fine.
shall accompany you. I think I shall recognize the skull when I see it.
Very well. I imagine we've all had suitable rest, anyway, which is good.
Yeah,
Milna, Magnus.
Milna stands up, kind of stretching her neck. Yeah, I've sat around for long enough, I think.
No such things as happenstance. Don't you think the timing is awkward?
I suppose. But there are many things that could happen, and fate is strange, as I'm sure Sintra could explain. And there's little to do but move forward.
She nods.
As you command.
We will all be wary. We know that danger surrounds us.
As always.
Such is life in this world, always.
And I suppose we'll look for that particular skull.
Yeah, you head forward. It's easy to light your path because several of your weapons are light-based. And you do see a skull like you see in front of you, only the mouth is huge and open and wide. And this is what Sintra saw in her vision. And
She points at it.
yeah, there's a eerie kind of orange glow from inside of it. It seems to be the only path forward.
On a bridge.
You're on the bridge, walking across. You're basically
Could fall off or attack us from range.
you're coming up to like this part right here.
I see.
Steps.
Yeah, as we approach, Gensric kind of turns to the others. Well, then they did say there would be danger within these caverns, so be at the ready. And I
They also
suppose-
said to wait for them.
Indeed, I suppose this would be the time to call out if they wish to stop us. So, well, Magnus, not to be rude, but you
Gladly, I'll
certainly have
call
the
out.
loudest voice.
Oh, he'll look to Sintra and say, "Excuse me, I'm not good with words. What would be non-offensive?"
She looks at him and she says, "We accompany the prince, soon to be the heir of this land. It is they should avoid offending us."
Yes, but there is indeed no need for reckless aggravation.
They know who we are. I think announcing ourselves and our purpose is all that is required.
Indeed. Just call out, and let them know we plan on moving through, to see if everything is alright.
Yes, with a booming voice, because he's described as extremely large.
7
yeah,
feet
that's why he's
tall,
having you do
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He yells, "People of the mountain!" And that's that echo.
Mm-hmm.
"We demand you show yourselves!" And then he just looks around, a gun at the ready.
Yeah, there's the echo. You hear yourself several times, and then just breaks to silence, and no one says anything. There's no response.
Yeah, Gensric purses his lips a little bit when he hears the demand you show yourself part, as he kind of pauses and calls out himself, pulling his helmet down. And we plan on moving through here. If any of you are coming to assist us, it would be much appreciated. And pulls his helmet back on. Gives them a moment. Well,
Giant's Bane,
suppose-
or Giant's Blood, will sort of lean down and say, "I doubt they heard you, Lord."
It matters little, I suppose.
Sintra calls out, I am Sintra, called Sin Shield, and I have dwelled here with House Tempest for longer than your elders have been alive. If any of you mean harm to Prince Gensric the Younger, be aware that I am here. I shield him, and I will seek reprisal against any who act against him. I know you have heard of me and what happens to those that oppose me.
Well, let us move on. I suppose they won't be responding, if they are able. Let's hope whatever danger they said dwells here did not get to them. And he draws his rapier and at the ready.
As you command. And Magnus doesn't mind. He'll lead with the loud metal stomping of his feet.
Milna has her hand on her pistol and is keeping a very close eye on everything around her.
Yeah, Gensric pretty much commands to go for a kind of like a Y formation with Sintra at the tail, him at the center, and then Magnus and Milna as vanguard on either angle to his front.
That sounds good.
Yeah, okay, one sec. You head into the skull. There's a orange glow that comes from inside that you continue to see. Eventually, you feel that it's becoming quite warm inside. You walk onto a ledge of sorts, and you see that there's a rocky bridge that heads over a chasm, and then the chasm is where this light is coming from. As you go to look down to see what's down there, you realize on this bridge are several figures just standing there. And let me switch you guys over. And you guys can rearrange yourselves as you would like, but...
And what term was it Galactus used? The change of the gate?
Yes, change of the gates. One sec. Yeah, and you see these creatures on the bridge standing there. They have sword and pistol in their hand. They're humanoid, but their faces are skulls, as if their skin had been ripped off their flesh. Their muscles, or some of it, is still attached to the bone. They wear not an armor unlike you. They wear storm suits. They stand there waiting almost, and their visage is such that you will need to make fear checks. And if you guys want to take 5 minutes or so before combat,
Yeah.
we certainly can.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll do my
Oilers.
real quick.
I think we'll have a party, so there.
Yeah,
I'll grab a cookie just for that. Be right back.
sounds good.
Is it an insanity roll?
It is. Why do you ask? Yeah, I mean, it would be essentially.
Okay, I just see on the character sheet the insanity roll button.
Oh, that is no, that's for if you like it's like the death roll equivalent of mental attacks.
Okay.
Did I not change that? I thought I did. I did this right here. It's always hard to get how big you want things.
Yeah, it can be pretty tricky.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you guys can set yourselves up as however you want. It's fine.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much the formation he was aiming
Yeah, I
for.
kind of,
Although with the bridge, it's gonna be a bit tricky to maintain.
How many spaces can you move in a turn again?
Up to, well, it depends. If you run, you can move 10. If you walk, you can move up to 5. But it's those are your turn, right? You can't just move and attack. It's all the same. You know, it all spins, right? So you can move 1 hex per 1 AP is basically how it works.
Okay.
But if you run, you can move 2 per 1, so that's why you can move 10. You guys can do your courage rolls now if you want.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Actually, let me do mine because it's environmental, right? Just like that way you might want to just use your mental defense instead of actually rolling. I don't know. So let's see. 13. What's your mental defenses? That was a really bad
Oh yeah, I
roll.
don't know if that'll even
Yeah.
Mine's
get
14.
through. I've got 18.
Oh, it doesn't even get by him. So you guys are good.
Yeah, Gensric is pretty tough in that regard.
Well, it's will plus empathy plus courage
Yeah,
times 2. So
it's pretty stacked for it, really. He's a strong-minded lad, that's for sure.
yeah, Sentry, you can make a courage roll if you would like. What's your mental defense? There should be a mental defense on your sheet. You might not have to, because I rolled a 13.
Just a second. 18.
Yeah, don't have to.
Yeah, she's seen that as worse than this.
Yeah.
Can I make just a straight lore roll to see if she recognizes what these are?
Yeah.
As soon as she
Yeah, I
sees-
was gonna ask the same thing, because I'm curious if these seem like things we can talk to or not. That's always Gensric's priority.
Yeah, sure, you can make a lower roll. Yeah, you know that there used to be back in the day when basically in the old days, you know that there were experiments on dead bodies, fusing dead bodies with cybernetics, and those experiments is basically when you were young at House Tempest. Those experiments were, what's the word I'm looking for? Abandoned because the creatures were unstable. You don't know what they did with the subjects, but it appears that you would say that this is what it is. They're wearing House Tempest storm suits, so.
Yeah. Okay. She
Yeah, before you do that, Magnus, the fear roll, my environmental attack was 13, so your mental defense is, what was it? Sorry, I think it was 8.
Add courage. Okay, what is it? My fortitude gets added?
Well,
Does that make a courage check?
do you have an ability or something?
Yeah, unbreakable. When making a courage skill check, add your fortitude skill ranks to the roll as a pre-roll modifier.
Oh yeah, you can do that if you would like. I was gonna say because otherwise you're gonna take a trauma, so which is an injury. So you should roll courage, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so how do I add my fortitude skill? Let's see how much my fortitude skill is.
It's 1.
Well, it's not bad. It's 1 more than 0. And so how I add that as a pre-skill mod?
Yeah, that'll be when it comes up additional mods, so it's just 1 to your roll.
Is this under mental? Is a
So
mental, right?
yeah, so go ahead and
RD?
go to your willpower and then roll courage. And then it'll ask
Oh, I see.
and it'll
Sorry.
ask you additional
Something
mods
like
at the very end and just put a 1 in there.
Courage, no benefits, no hardship, no training, mod 1.
Yeah.
Ploink.
Yeah, you're good. So you're not scared either. Okay, so none of their fear effects work on you guys. And we can do initiative. Let me yeah, go ahead, Centra. You were gonna say something though?
Yeah, she just kind of reaches forward to put her hand on the prince's back and says, "These creatures were experiments from long ago. Dead, merged with machine. No true scion of House Tempest need fear them, but we may need to destroy them."
Well, then, yes, let us amend the mistakes of old. Do initiative. Now I have my tactical thing, so if mine's better, we can use mine.
Yep, if they want.
Or anyone can use mine, basically.
Oh, also, what do they look like they're armed with?
They have I can tell you exactly. I think it's power swords and laser pistols, but 1 second.
Yeah, so we'll be able to go off my 27.
Yes, power swords and pistols. They're normal pistols, they're not even laser pistols, so yeah.
What about the range on those?
Oh,
What about the range?
pistols range would be where are they? They're in they are in a mix of medium to long range for pistols.
Okay. And what I know about our companions is, are we mostly, like, she would know it, probably, Milna, and,
Milna has both. Magnus has
is-
both technically, but his is like a more short range kind of.
he'll probably want to get in there.
Yeah, Gensric is all about close combat, so he's gonna have to press forward.
So, are their pistols energy-based? or
No,
are
they're not
they,
energy based. They're piercing based.
Got it.
They're old. So Magnus, to roll initiative, you can do it from your combat menu. Cool. All right, so Gensric's is best, and he has something called tactical advantage, so everybody can use his initiative if they want. So I'm assuming you want to, so I'm going to just bump everybody up to 27.
Oh, yeah. That
Nice.
is a good ability.
Yeah. Yeah, so Gensric, as he sees these guys, he steels himself, his rapier drawn. Press forward, clear the way for me.
It's obvious that they are hostile to us.
I mean, they haven't done anything.
Oh, they haven't acted?
No, I mean,
I'm like, why do we think this is combat?
Because
point.
we are on a combat map with
Yeah, I assumed they were.
Are you a fool?
no, it doesn't. They haven't done anything yet.
Can order them to stand down. They might listen.
Yeah, Gensric will kind of look forward and, well, actually, he'd kind of turn to Sintra. Are they to be reasoned with or destroyed, as you said?
Cast out because they were a failed experiment. I doubt their ability to be controlled. You may try to issue an order, but I have no faith that it will be successful.
Well, then he kind of looks to them, and he's getting ready to approach, but calls out, "By order of House Tempest, I order you stand down or be cut down."
Go ahead and give me your status roll against Desperate. PL2 Desperate is 38.
Very well. That's my one benefit, right?
Yep, you
Let's
can
see.
use things like fate points and stuff, you know.
Cool. I think it'll go with the base one for now. Hopefully you can get it.
Oh,
Oh,
so
it's so
So
close.
close.
They hesitate.
Oh man, that was a really bad roll.
Yeah.
Wow, 11d6. Oh gosh,
Fucking rolled utter shit.
11d. Wow. We do not abide by your authority. No more. No longer are we the boot of House Tempest. You will die. And
Start shooting, Mjolnir.
yeah, you guys can go in any order you want. Really, doesn't matter. You all have the
Yeah,
same initiative.
Gensric pretty much
You
says,
hear the lightning gun go boop, and Magnus looks over and says, "Lord."
yes, press forward, open a way for me.
And he just runs and fires the gun
Okay.
like a madman.
Yeah. So the way this works is there's no like rounds, right? So everything you do costs action points, and so if you want to move, you can move up to 5 hexes at normal speed, and that would be your turn for 5 action points. Or you can move something below that, or you could run and move greater than 5, but you're going to have negatives on your next attack.
It does also give you negatives to be hit.
Yeah.
Kind of meta, but they don't go till 14. So
If I were to move, that is not good for my following attack.
As long as you don't run, it's fine.
Yeah,
Because I was hoping to just move 3.
Then you're completely fine.
yeah.
The
Gensric
distance of
just
the gun
wants-
is 10. That means if I count 10 forward, that's all 5 of them within the spread of the weapon.
No. The range is 10. That means that's your max range for medium. So it really depends. So it would
The
be
closer you are, the easier it is to hit.
yeah, the closer. But 10 is good. You can hit two adjacent guys. So you could hit like the Death Guardian and the Warden if they're there when you go, right? It just kind of depends.
Are we talking 10 inches, 10 feet?
10 hexes.
squares?
Hexes, yes.
If I were to count 10 hexes, isn't this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Or even 10 this way? Like
Well,
1,
yeah,
2,
yeah.
3, 4,
But the
5,
thing
6,
is,
7, 8, 9,
The
10.
further away they are, or the closer, determines how many dice you roll for difficulty. So if they're close, it's gonna be a much lower difficulty to hit, basically.
I see, and I can move 5 without any penalty to my attack.
That's correct.
So I was here.
Yeah,
right?
you've moved 3, so you can move 2 more.
So
Although
5.
there is the benefit of the fact that if you did run, they would have a minus to shoot you as well until you act. So if you run up now, they'll all have. Is it still -5?
It's -3.
-3 now, yeah. So it'd be a -3 for all of their shots if they aim at you. You'd get a -3 on your next attack, but since they are all going after you, it would have a full round essentially where they're at minus to hit you.
I see. And this blinding ability that my gear has, I would have to stand in between them to do that?
Let me see.
Because I'd rather do that before everybody else is in the fray, so as to not blind my
Oh, the
enemies.
stun grenade? Or...
No, it says in the bio info, blinding senses. This effect causes a light and sound to erupt. Is that part of the stun grenade?
Yeah, that's a stun grenade.
I'm
Yeah,
not
that's a
following
stun.
this
That's
law.
the equipment effect for the stun grenade. Yep.
Okay, and that's fine. Okay. Yeah, I've not played the system.
No, you're
before.
fine. You're fine.
Are the other players advocating I go closer with the lightning gun before I fire it, or shoot it from here?
I think the ideal is typically 2 away from the target because that puts you at point blank, where you
interesting.
roll against their base defense essentially.
Yeah, the thing about the lightning gun is it has short, so you don't want to be far away. You can't even hit at long range.
Oh, so it's because it's more like a flamethrower.
Yes. So the range is 6 actually on this. So if I count it down for you, 6 would be, so the way range works is you take that range that you have on your weapon and then you have it. and I'm sorry. You take the range, and that is actually medium, up to 1.5 and to half of it. So anything at 6 is a medium. Anything at like 3 is close.
I see. So
And 2 away is point blank.
Is there any chance to attack more than one?
Yes, anything. If they're adjacent, you have spread. So if 2 things are adjacent, it'll hit them both. So like if you shot one of these guys,
Like
yeah,
these two
right.
would probably be a pretty good target. Yeah.
Oh, not adjacent to me, adjacent to
Yeah,
each
to
other.
each other.
Yeah, I imagine it'll arc basically the lightning, kind of jumping from one to the next.
I see. So I think Aki was saying that I should go here then to attack.
Well, ideally, because
Because
at
short.
that they can dodge. If you're within one of them, if you're in melee essentially, they can roll to dodge your ranged attacks. But as long as you're at point blank, which would be 2 away or further, basically point blank is the optimal.
I mean, I think you're good there
roll.
because they're gonna. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to come closer probably. I mean,
Yeah, that's the
I
trick, is
can't
they're
say
gonna
for
move up.
sure, but I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stun grenade would not hit all of them if I lobbed it at, say, this guy.
It would see.
Is that also just adjacent?
Let me look.
Because I'm trying to set them up for the rest of the group to mow down as many as
Right.
possible.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Let's see.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. You only move 3, so you'll only be at 3 AP. So and an attack is 3. So even if they all attacked, you'd be up next.
It would
After once everything else.
it would hit let's see.
Sorry if I'm
No,
slowing
you're
this down.
fine.
I'm just
No,
trying to
you're
find
fine.
the
No.
options.
Yes, it would be adjacent. Stun grenades are adjacent.
Okay, then I'll start with Death Warden 4, right? And you guys had said from here is okay, or from here is
That
better.
seems fine. Yeah.
Okay, you moved out 5, so that would be your turn. Whoops, where did I?
Oh, it was 5. Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, it's probably not worth quite running.
I'll go next and move up 5 to here.
I just hit. Give me 1 sec. Okay. You go through a 5. Okay, whoever wants to go.
Yeah. Well, Gensric needs to get up into melee, so he's gonna actually go around the side and run up to here. Well, actually, yeah, I'm just gonna go up to here, so it'll cost me. Let me see, 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that'll cost me 3, and I'll run.
Gonna give Milna a heart attack.
He's all melee. He has to. You'd know that's his way of.
What's
fighting, too.
how
So
many squares did you move? I mean,
6 total, I believe.
and you ran.
So it was right here. Yeah, ran. Yep, 6.
Okay. Centra.
Yeah, Sintra deliberately kind of waited to see what everybody else was doing. And she's going to move, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's going to do a cauldron right there.
Okay, so you move 5, so that's your turn. You can do Cauldron next turn.
From it.
Yep, go ahead.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know what any of that is.
It's a spell.
But it sounds delightful to
Yeah.
madness.
All right, next person is the one in the back. It's going to...
I'm sorry, what weapon are you brandishing, Prince? Gensric?
Lightning rapier.
Okay, is that as
Melee.
melee weapon?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty much the only weapon he has on him. Pretty much the only thing he uses.
This one...
Yeah, I
walks
imagine
up.
you would all know he's not adept at all with ranged combat, but he is quite good with the sword.
This one...
Sintra's trying to remember. Was that Gensric or his father that faced
Shit,
the
which one
rapier?
was it?
Or was it his grandfather? Or his son?
Yeah, they all
Is this
begin
an
to...
element of letting them come to you so that you attack first?
Potentially. There's a lot. It's nice because there's a ton of different tactical strategies you can use.
Yeah.
And I love tactical combat.
Yeah, they begin to move up. The one that moved, well, not dub. 2 is still up. So now what you do, just so you know, is after initiative, it's kind of like only to break ties. So this one with an AP of 2 would go next because he has the lowest. And he is going to attack Magnus at point blank range with his
Leave.
pistol.
Although they set you up to wreck their face, Magnus, because you shoot the guy in the middle and they're all getting zapped.
Fully. Puny pistol.
So 19 range defense, so it's a hit. So it's 8.
I imagine his armor will probably...
Yeah, what is your armor on your
A
torso?
base defense of 16.
Yeah,
Armor on the torso is 12.
yeah, 12. For piercing, what is it for piercing?
6.
6. So let's see. That's 8 plus 10. So we're at 18. Minus 6, that's 12. So there's 12 damage. That is enough to give you an injury.
Endurance gets added to all armor rolls.
Yeah, that's all worked in. You're impervious. Yeah, it's worked in. So injury.
Yeah, those pistols are chunky. Ooh. Yeah, and they're mortal. Shit.
Well, he didn't give him a wound. So it shoots and it kind of like ricochets off your well, not ricochets, but just like grazes your side as it shoots, and that's that brings him up to 5 AP. Gensric, you're up with.
Alrighty.
3.
Yeah, he's gonna go in for an attack on this guy. I've got my -3, but that's okay. Are these guys in fairly tough-looking armor, or?
Yeah. Let's see. I have to remember. Yeah, they're in. It's actually very old. Pretty old armor, yeah.
And the defensive 3 on my rapier, I assume that
That's
gives me a bonus to defense.
yeah. It gives you three benefits to defense
Sweet.
when you parry with
Yeah,
it.
so yeah, he's just going to go in with a nice little prodding attack to test their defenses real quick. So I'll do a rushed attack for 2, I believe it is.
Yes,
yeah?
rush attack is 2.
So I'll have a
Hardship.
but I want to gauge how strong their armor is a bit. And then a -3. Not terrible. So 17, of course, at this one here.
Okay, so it is going to try to parry.
I'm addicted to these rushed attacks from Zorath. but tactically speaking, I felt like it was a good way of doing it because that puts me at 5, which means I'll get to go again before all of the other ones.
Smart.
Yeah, it parries it.
Oh my. Yeah, he parries it. Gensric sees the rather adept swing of the blade up to counter his, and he's gonna kind of get ready to get stuck in. He expects this is gonna be a long fight.
Yeah, you go to stab him with your rapier and it just knocks it away. That one was at 4, so I think man, this is everybody's all bunched up. Everybody can see everybody's AP, right? That's important.
Yeah, the one in the middle is a bit hard to see.
Okay.
But...
the one with 4, the ones against Gensric is next, and it is going to do a reckless attack.
Uh-oh. Glad I got that rapier.
Hit chance?
Okay.
Probably be dodging, depending on how... I imagine it's going to be pretty chunky. It's pretty chunky. I will definitely want to dodge this.
Can I use Guardian?
Yes, you can.
Or actually, I might be better off. Do you think I'd be better off trying to parry? How does that? What's the difference there?
Parry
Well-
parry uses your sword, which gives you your defensive qualities.
Yeah, I'm good
But
with that.
but she has an ability that might.
But that takes the hit, right?
No, if I get to roll a defensive action to help you dodge, but if I fail, you still get to make a defensive action as normal.
Might as well then. I suppose.
Yeah, she just spends AP to do it.
So I'll dodge.
Yeah, doesn't work, but
Yeah, no, I'll definitely go for that parry. Of course, now I don't have any minuses, luckily.
mm-mm.
Is the 3 built
No,
in, or do I need to add
no.
that? 34.
So it's a
I
hit.
think that and my armor will hold
It
it
has.
off, though.
Let me see what its attack was. What's the damage? Slashing.
So a total of what?
What?
7?
Yeah, but what's your
6 armor.
So it has a slashing quality, so it's down to 3. So your armor's at 3, right? So let's see. It rolled a 35, and you rolled a 34. That's 1, 9 minus 3, 6. What's your
I think it's an
injury?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, exactly, injury.
Yep, so you
Yeah.
take an injury. So it cuts you across into your armor, slashing deep. It just looks at you with dead, cold eyes. And
Close.
I believe Magnus would be up next.
Unmute. I'll zap the guy in the middle to hope that it spreads.
Mm-hmm.
I understand how that's how it works, and it's also at a good distance.
Oh, you're shooting that guy? Yeah, let me see
Mhm.
one thing, though.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering. Does it? I guess. Does it arc to the next person, or?
That's how it was described.
It'll hit anybody adjacent to whoever you're shooting.
Okay, just to the original target is what I'm
Mhm.
wondering. Okay, good. I was
both
just
the
like,
frame
is
and
this
that,
gonna
and that,
change?
and
Yeah,
that, and that. No,
exactly.
Not chain lightning.
Right, it's the only one alive.
Zap that.
Since it's like, well, I guess I'm going home.
Yeah. He failed. Lord, you must sire another heir.
Yeah, Magnus is like, oh, not again.
Yep, go ahead.
So I'll click on Magnus.
And he is point blank and
Combat.
adjacent, so.
On combat, I
Just
click
realized I don't have the
on
book.
lightning conduit
Yep.
gun. Right.
Mhm.
Click. Choose a target. That one. It starts with benefit 1. I don't know why that is.
That is because something's worked in from your abilities. I think you have lethal weapon or mortal, or yeah, I think lethal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mastery, weapon mastery. I think maybe I don't know.
Submit. It is trained. Do I get any additional mods I should know about?
I don't think so.
Submit. It is point blank. There we go. Did it do something?
Very
Oh
nice.
wow, that's a lot of dice.
Hey.
Oh boy.
That's a good roll.
Well, so the way range combat works is basically you're shit out of luck when you get shot at, and you can't like dodge or anything. So
Yeah, point blank is the best.
yeah, point blank is the best. So you shoot these things, your lightning, it spins up, okay, and it just zaps these two things in the head, and their heads just explode. Killing them both instantly, because the way it would work is they don't have any soak or anything on their head. So 44, it would be -6, 38 damage. Their wound thresholds are 11, so that's more than double that. They are dead, and they are minions, so they die pretty easy.
How do you determine that it's 2 or 3 or 4 of them that die?
Because this has spread, so it hits 2 adjacent targets. So they both take.
Oh, it's 2 specifically.
Yeah, spread is it will do 1 adjacent target to whoever you hit. So that would be 2.
I see.
Mhm.
Okay, so a total of 2 in all
Yes.
situations. I get
Yes.
it. Get it, get
Yep.
it.
So that we kill them both. It's
Nice.
it's like
Very good.
let me see. Yeah, they're minions.
Does it matter which two die?
Those
Oh
two,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Cool.
Because and they die after they take a wound because they're minions.
Cool.
And so that
the heads pop.
Yep,
It's a good
their heads
story to
pop,
tell
yep.
later.
And I'm gonna move you just for a second so I can update your AP up to 8. Okay, who's up?
I think next
Is it
Rip.
Sintra?
Probably Sintra or Gensric. You go ahead, Rogue. Well, actually, I might be able to take this guy out real quick. I'm just checking something.
Sintra will definitely defer to the prince.
So I think what I'm going to do is an offensive maneuver. I want to try and boot this guy off.
You definitely can.
Yeah, so I will go for an offensive maneuver.
But this is
He's
Sparta
right.
type of kick him off the
Yep.
ledge.
Pretty much.
Nice.
So skill check is normal, so my normal attack, right?
An engaged attacker may attack while in the same time causing the defender move 1 hex in any direction. Let's see.
Offensive. Yeah, if it successfully hits the defender, the offensive maneuver succeeds.
If attempting to move the character in an extremely dangerous situation, such off a cliff or off a boat, so snake pits, they get to make a skill check against a challenging difficulty, which in this game is 21 since it's a PL2 game. So
would that count as his defensive thing for the reckless attack, or?
yes. No, not. It could try to block it. It could try to block it, and then that would. But yeah.
Cool. So for now, I'll do my attack, and I'll be going up 4 to 9. So here's my attack, at least. Not great, but he's got his shit defense here.
Emma, yes, you could parry with your weapon too.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
So your attack is
There's a bunch.
so he gets a hardship to his parry. Hit.
Ooh.
Okay, so you do the damage. That might just kill him anyway. What's his 15?
I do have piercing,
10,
it looked like.
18. Yeah, that kills it. That kills it anyway. You just kill it with
Alright,
your
cool.
rapier.
Yeah, so he, of course, wanting to make sure this thing isn't going to come back, it already looks dead enough as is, so he's not really sure. There was some kind of experiment. He brings the rapier up, kind of around the thing's blade, just as it comes up and down, comes up to block. He kind of whips it up and around, kind of putting the point to the chest from on high, and kind of presses the thing back at the neck, slicing it open and then booting it the rest of the way off down the ledge.
Did you give yourself a hardship on that attack, by the way?
Oh, is it with the
Yeah,
hardship?
next time, just remember. Yeah, that's a hardship, but yeah,
Sorry
no,
about
you're
that,
fine.
yeah.
Okay. I think it would be Sintra and Milna.
We'll be
Sintra first, because Milna's at 6.
Oh, yep, she
Yeah.
defended, that's right.
Let me adjust.
Yeah, Sintra has been, as usual, kind of just staring off into the distance after taking a few steps up. And as Gensric finishes off his opponent, electricity starts to collect on the tip of her staff, its metal end. And she sort of turns, almost as if blindfolded, feeling her way toward her opponent, and then she stops, pointing at this person, and the electricity arcs into the air and starts to collect into that space all around him. And so she's going to do Cauldron right there. She's going to do a level 2 Cauldron.
Okay, where are you aiming it? Like straight on
That
top of
hex.
him?
It's AoE, isn't it?
Yes, it is AoE.
It's 1 hex. It affects 1 hex. Is what the way I read it.
Base target. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unless she expands it, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So you're gonna do just a base 1 attack on it, or
No base.
okay? So that would make it explosive 1. That would hit. That would hit the other people. And what you could do. So here's the thing,
target.
Cauldron. You don't have to do just targets. You could do damage for 1, and then
Okay.
yeah. So
She wanted to up the damage if
Yes.
she has to expand the range, to do that.
nope,
she'll
you're
put it
fine.
there.
So you could do
Move each
you could do
individual
2.
track.
So basically, what you do is you do 2 level 2 would be 2 environmental dice just on that hex
Yeah.
for 5
So
AP.
that,
Yeah, because you move each ladder individually.
Yes.
right. So I'm clicking on Psyche. Is that what I'm doing?
I don't believe that's a psyche spell. I think that's a harness spell.
What do I? Is that going to be combat?
Yep, there's a harness button on there. It should be right before it, I think.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay. And click on here.
You just click
and-
on him. It's fine.
Okay, and then no benefit. Do I have a hardship because she upped it to the next
No.
level?
Mm-mm.
It's just what I roll.
It's what you roll versus his magic defense plus the 2d10.
Okay. Do I put 2 spell effects
Yes.
there?
His magic defense is 4.
That's a pretty
It's
good roll.
18. And then it's going to be this. You roll me 2d10 exploding. So that's how much damage it does. Why can't I like pull this? Looking for like a fire. There we go. Right there. Okay. And then I'll do this. 13. Okay. So does it say in Cauldron?
It lasts for 5 AP.
Yeah, it starts basically on their turn.
Yeah. I mean, it's just timed well because he goes
Yeah.
immediately.
So he
after
goes
me.
immediately. So I don't know if he gets to roll anything.
I think
I imagine
it's
it's
unfortunately timed
Stamina.
for this fellow.
Those caught in the beginning of the next turn must make a stamina skill check versus whatever you rolled.
oh my, good luck.
Right.
I suppose it's a static AOE, so you could move out of it, but
Yeah, but he takes it at the
He's gonna
beginning
take
of
it.
his
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So he makes a stamina roll.
And that does put them at bay right there as well, which is
Right. If you hadn't gotten that guy, I would have put it on the guy in front of you.
Oh hell. This
Oh, that's a nice roll.
this fire is the fire. I was rolling the fire.
Yo.
This is the guardian, so he's the tougher one. Endurance. He does not have stamina. No, it's not trained. Nope. Yeah, it didn't explode. Okay. So he does take 13. 13 for him gives him an injury.
And it stays there for 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he's either got to take it some more or move away.
All right, so go ahead. I'm gonna add AP
You know
to
what would be
you.
great is if he tries to
All right,
move out and I kick him back into
Emma, you're up now.
Don't the
Oh,
enemies go?
you're at 6. I keep forgetting that. Sorry. Okay. Yes, I do. The first one is the Death Warden back there. It's going to shoot at Gensric.
Glad I'm 1 out of point blank.
Actually, it's going to aim for 3.
Oh, that makes sense.
Ooh.
Oops.
The shot only happens at 8?
He will shoot at 8, yep.
Okay. That's cool.
And then
Yeah, it's
That's
nice. You can
before
really.
And then it would be
That means we can still mess
yeah.
with
The Guardian is not gonna bother to move. It is just going to swing down at Magnus. Try to kill. I get it.
I'm sorry, did you mean swing up?
Yes, swing up at Magnus.
I just wanted to be clear about that.
Yes.
Little dead man.
Wait, what's your AP? Just moving you to say. He's gonna aim twice
Puts him to what?
with his sword. Yep.
Oh, sword aiming is quicker?
It's the same. He's aiming twice, so it adds 2 AP to him.
But the other guy with the pistol aimed once and
No, he aimed 3 times.
No, he aimed
Yeah,
3 times.
he was at 5.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can aim for 1 essentially, and so
yeah. You can
like technically he'll aim 1, and then it'll be
yeah. You can aim
so,
up to 5
but-
times in a row if you want.
What does that mechanically
Benefit for each aim, which is an extra rolled dice.
So, like, if your enemy
Ow.
is gonna go for 5 turns, aim for 4.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got little reason not to, unless like there's rare situations where you would want to attack just a bunch of times, right? Odds wise, like my character Zorath for Hourglass has reckless attack for 1 because of an ability, so he could just instead of aiming 4, he could attack 5 times altogether, which of course the odds are better for him,
Yeah.
even with the hardship.
Emma, you're up.
How much AP does Magnus have?
I believe he has.
I am at 8, right?
Yes,
out of
8. It's 8.
flat zero?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I aim 1, I'll still act before
Yep,
him.
you sure will.
Yeah,
And so I'll do that.
Okay.
And then I'll hit him with my light spear.
Okay. So that would put you at 10, and you can attack.
And he's got an injury, right?
Cool.
Save me,
He
Obi-Wan.
he
Leave me alone.
might. Now you have reach on that, so
Oh, I do.
yeah, that's a reach. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
And he's injured.
Now, if a user attacks, we won't worry about it right now. But next time, if a user has a reach weapon and attacks adjacent, you take a hardship. But
Oh,
yeah, but so 42, that is gonna kill him for sure. So he'll try to block it. This is gonna waste his aim. So his
Whatever.
aim goes away completely. He's gonna try to block it.
okay.
Percent is the best bodyguard on this
Yeah, that
bridge.
kills him. He doesn't block it.
I also add 2 to the post-roll modifier,
Mm.
and it also costs me 1 less AP.
Oh, nice. You've got the.
Oh, okay.
very
So, so this guy's not minion. So let's figure it out. So 42. That's what you rolled, right? And then you had a post roll modifier of something.
Plus 2, so 44.
All right, and then his roll was what? 23. So it's a 21. And then your damage on that is a 14. So that's going to put it at 35. His armor does no other damage soak because they're old. So you bump his AP up to 8, and then his aims go away. So let's see, 35. He has 20. He has 14. So that's over his mortality threshold. Is 28. So he's going to make a death roll. We'll do it right.
Don't want to roll and just have him die. It's okay.
I just want to do it right.
We don't want to force him.
Finish him.
He's got to beat a 42. Well, he's got to beat a 35 actually, because that was what the. Sorry.
Oh, God.
No revisions.
So yeah, because the damage was 35, he rolled just above that because that was the level 6. So he does survive, but he takes a wound.
So he's got a wound and an
He does have a
injury.
wound and injury. So how does that look as you hit him with your lightning spear?
Yeah, so...
Does mortal effect? Sorry.
She already had it. Already has mortal, right?
Oh.
Oh, does your weapon have mortal? Oh,
Yeah.
so she takes another injury too. So he has 2 injuries.
Now,
Mhm.
does he take more wounds that round? Because he's still standing in the cauldron, and it lasts for 5.
That'll be when he goes again, yeah. Oh, it would be every 1 AP.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what I'm saying.
Or is it on their go?
It would be
Right.
on his go. I'll have to.
I think maybe that's how it's worded, and if it's not, probably how it's intended.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that right now.
Oh, when the cauldron was there to aim at me.
Yeah, I'll look at that. But I would say,
Yeah, it's at the beginning of their next
yeah.
turn,
So that would, if he aimed, it should have hit him, honestly. But
Yep.
just go ahead. How does it look, Melina?
Yeah, so we'll say she takes a step back and just drives her light lance into this skeletal monstrosity, whatever you would describe it as, tearing almost a hole through it. However, it's still barely standing and still has its eyes on, I imagine, Magnus, or maybe me, now that I've injured it a bunch.
Yeah, I gave him 2 more injuries
Okay.
for the standing in the cauldron. Okay, who has 8? I think Magnus, you're up.
No, he
Sintra,
has
I'd prefer maybe Sintra goes first.
Whichever.
I can react.
Well, Sintra, she's still got that cauldron going on this guy for this turn, so she'll keep that. Let me see. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because I think if you could manage to hit the other one at least, it would get rid of his aim.
She moves forward. She can't really get here now. Elemental attack. If she did another cauldron, would that be 2 cauldron attacks on this guy, or can you only have 1 cauldron attack going on someone?
I would say you can only have 1.
That's what I would think. So, in order to hit this guy, she would need to be at level 3 on the elemental attack. Am I right? 1, 2.
Yeah, because the base range is touch, right? So, yeah.
Well, I'll try that because I don't really know how it's gonna work out at 3. This is just experimental.
Yeah, sure.
Magic. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
moving up, it'll put you at what, 9? I think you just moved 1, right?
She moved 1, but her elemental attack, the base range is touch, and then it goes to 2, and then it goes to 4. So this is at level 3. Cool. And
Yeah, that would be level
it
3.
may not do it. It may not do much, but we'll see. Because this guy's gonna be under just after this. He's gonna take another cauldron. Because that will last till 10. Oh, I meant to do combat. And then I do harness. This guy. No benefits.
I don't think you'll be able to go before him anyway, though, will you?
Yeah, she goes. Oh, yeah, you moved, so
Since
it's
you were
his
saying She
turn.
moved up 1, it'll put her at
Yeah,
9.
it's her.
Oh, I had to
Yeah.
move. But, I had to move. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't get to go until
Yeah.
9.
Okay, so the Magnus, you're up now.
I'll change that.
I keep having to move you to see your AP, but yep, you're up.
The guy in front of me is getting electrocuted and bored through by a light dance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this guy at 8
Mhm.
is
And he looks sort of like on the ropes. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's
getting
getting
damaged.
badly damaged. Yeah.
Is there some form in which I could charge the person behind to make him miss his aim, essentially, because I notice he's aiming at our prince?
If he
I'll
reacts,
hold one
yes. You could.
Zap him from
You could
here?
shoot him.
Because I think the charge just gives you a bonus to your attack after the
Yeah, it
movement,
does.
right?
You could just
Yeah,
shoot him from here.
I can just shoot him with just like it's just one further.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're within 3. You're in medium range right now.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I think
click
it'd be
on-
2d10 to difficulty, right?
Clear on combat.
But firing it a ranged weapon at medium range reduces the damage by half if you're a short weapon, which you are. But that's That's okay.
But it's the only way to impact
Yep,
this person in the system
correct.
right now,
That's
correct?
right.
Yeah, without giving him the chance to take the shot, for sure.
Yeah, then that's what I'll
Yep.
do.
Yeah,
Click
that
on
makes
him.
sense.
It's trained.
Because even if you just graze him, it's better than...
It's not point blank. You said it's...
No.
It has it moved to close or medium?
It's a medium right now for you.
Oh, geez, okay. Submit.
Yeah, even if it's half damage, still getting rid of
It
that
says
aim is
to the
worth it.
target again. Do I click him again?
I shouldn't have,
What's
but I don't
happening?
know what happened.
Yeah, I think it choked. And it still says choose a target. Oh, there it goes. Wow,
Prejudice.
that took a long time.
Fucking hell!
Oh, nice.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, it's
That
fucking
works.
lightning.
Half damage or not, that's
Yeah,
gonna be chunky.
56 minus 17,
It certainly
39.
passes the range 10.
Yeah, that's gonna be what.
So chunky.
Yeah, that kills him. How does that look?
Nice.
So Magnus, sort of recharging the lightning or the conduit gun from the first kill, take a big step to the left to sort of bring the gun to bear past the death guard right in front of him. Sees the, I think it was a death warden
Mhm,
behind, aim at the prince and just bellows no, and just pulls the trigger violently way to the back. And sort of peppers him with a spray of medium range lightning flames, right? Sort of he gets emulated
hmm
in the lightning. And just hoses him down until he's sure the guy's dead.
Yeah, this guy. It just like burns to a crisp and falls backwards. This thing attacks at Melina, and
This is when he takes.
yeah, I already
damage.
gave him another injury. He's basically on fire, is what it looks like. He's gonna reckless attack though, because
Still attacking Milna. That's badass.
Chunky boy, man. Tanky as fuck.
Pulls himself up on the light lands.
yep,
Just keeps going, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he's got bad times now. Negative 15. He misses your base defense, easy.
Yeah.
He misses. So how do you guys finish this off so we don't have to just like keep going? But he's gonna die.
Can we say that as he tries to stab towards me, Milna just dodges out of the way and then stabs him again with the light
Yes,
lance?
absolutely.
Cool.
Like a pig on a spit. Just roast.
And as you finish off the last of the undead cyborgs, the bridge is free of any of them.
Yeah, Prince Gensric kind of turns to Magnus. Thank you.
Forward to get eyes on you and make sure that you're okay.
Yeah, Milna's
he-
definitely checking on you.
I'm fine, just a small scrape. Let's move on.
Kind of sucks the energies from that hex back into her staff as the prince walks into it.
Yeah, he obviously waits for the the thing to be gone, but he kind of steps forward, looking down at the charred corpse. Whatever they were once, they are now done with. I suppose we should move on. Hopefully, we'll find Galactus.
Hopefully he is still among the brazen.
Anything interesting from a sort of weapon master's perspective about their armor or weapons?
It's all really old. It's all at least 50 years old, you would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Magnus would scoff at that, maybe, push it a little with his feet and go like, really old stuff.
Yeah, so,
And then he'll rip open one of their faces.
oh my.
Yeah, they're just basically a mix of machine and skull as you batter them.
So they are undead, as we had thought.
Oh yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Moving corpses. Powered by science! But yeah, Gensric is ready to move on. Well then, that's all of them dealt with. Let's go.
Yeah, let me.
Do not let your guard down, young lord.
Of course, never.
Allow Magnus and I to lead the way.
Indeed. Just make sure to leave room should I need to pass.
Of course, Prince. Then Melna, together with Magnus, will continue to walk forward, paying careful attention that the Prince and Sintra are behind them.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know what it is with Roll20 these days, but it's slow.
Yeah, his ideal positioning would be like, boom.
Oh yeah, you walk through, you walk
there,
down the rest
there,
of the
yeah.
the bridge, and it opens up again to the other side. The other side is not nearly as ornate as the other side. There's no skulls. There's nothing like that. It just looks like a normal cavern. You explore for a while. You don't see anything of Galactus, but you see like a light coming from the outside. As you head towards that light, you see on the other side there's a walkway back into the deep parts of the canyon outside of a cave. So you've basically it's a very long walk, but you basically have stretched the mountain range, and you walk for several hours through this cavern complex towards this light that you see, but you never do find Galactus again.
Or anybody
No.
else.
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Comment still better than getting hit by lightning outside.
Indeed.
Yes.
Despite the danger, it's far, far better than the storms above.
I would far rather face the dangers of this underground complex than that nature above. Man overestimates his mastery over this planet.
I think perhaps man underestimates his mastery of everything, Sintra.
She smiles at the prince at that. You grow wise indeed, young prince.
Eventually, you do exit the cavern, and it comes to this huge water lake, this huge waterway. It's the water is actually red, unlike this picture, but you see that there's a large skiff on one side of the lake that rests at the water's edge. And on the other, in the middle of the water, there is a small island with a massive, massive castle inside. This is what you have always been told that the seat of bones looked like, which is the seat of House Invictus, which is on the other side of the mountain range. You see that there's a man on the skiff. He seems to be waiting, just sitting there, looking up at you as you kind of appear in the distance.
Sit, young lord, the Cloister. Do your house proud.
Of course. And Gensric, of course, from this point kind of leads the way a bit more, kind of pressing up ahead of the others. Greetings. I presume you are to take us forward.
I am the ferryman, and you are in Erling.
Yeah, he pulls his helmet up and off. Prince Gensric the Younger of House Tempest.
Well then, if you wish to ride across the water, I will take you.
Does Sintra know anything about this burying that might be part of the task?
You have no clue about what the tasks might be.
Yeah, Gensric definitely wants to try and get a read on this guy.
Oh yeah, you can roll detect lies.
He's not great with it, but...
Travel up to here, was there a chance to recharge?
Yeah,
the exam by getting
absolutely.
hit?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
No.
No, I'm not
Yeah, you don't. He's just very stoic. He's got kind of these odd eyes. You might know that they probably are genetically modified to see at night, maybe. And it is starting to get towards darkness. But he gets in this skiff, and this skiff is a water-based vehicle, actually. It looks like, instead of a flyer for some reason. But he goes and sits at the controls and just waits for everybody to pile inside. He doesn't say much.
Gensric gives a little bit of nod and kind of steps aboard. My thanks.
Sintra follows him, for once seeming completely within the presence. This is my first time, young lord. I did not accompany your father. I am curious. For the first time that I can remember in the past decade. Do not know what will happen next.
I suppose we will all see then. Hopefully whatever it is good.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it will be an appropriate challenge for you, my lord. And challenge is always good.
Suppose so. Sharpen my teeth, as it were.
Prove your mettle. Prove that what I see is there.
And Gensric kind of looks rather stoically up to the citadel before them, across the lake, kind of steeling himself for whatever is to come.
Yeah, as everybody gets on board, it just the man puts the throttle forward, and you kind of zip across the lake very quickly. He pulls up to the outer gates and stops and says, "One more lordling for the castle. Good luck in your test."
My thanks. Be safe upon these waters.
He just watches everyone depart.
Gensric steps out and starts heading on up to the entrance.
Linger as he feigns having problems getting, not problems, but taking longer to get out of the boat, to get a single question into the ferryman. He says, "How many lordlings have you ferried over lately?"
He thinks about it for a moment. 5 others.
Within a week? A month? A day?
Several weeks, I think.
Thank you, good man.
You should know, none of them have left the citadel.
Thank you as well for that information.
As
And
they
then I'll
exit,
catch up and I'll inform privately either Sarmilna or Sintra, whichever is the one lagging behind, the furthest.
Go ahead, Milna.
Do you imagine Sintra would be, like, very close to the prince, since this is, like, a very official duty sort of deal? Or where do you think Sintra's at?
She's always behind him.
Okay, I think in that case, we'll say you're the one that's a little further behind, as Milna would stick, like, right by his side, most likely.
Magnus would, she can hear him stomping up to catch up right from behind. And he will say in what for him is quiet, Grand Sorceress.
Yes, Magnus.
The ferryman revealed that no less than 5 lordling, as he called them, lordlings were ferried by him over in the past few weeks.
She looks at Magnus and then off into the sky, her eyes glowing faintly for a moment. And she nods.
And then he adds, and none have returned.
This she pauses, and then one side of her mouth moves up very, very faintly into what might be sort of a smile. And she moves up to be by the prince and puts her hand on his shoulder. Prince Gensric, a word.
Yeah, he pauses, and looking at your hand and then to you. Yes?
You
What is
know
it?
that I have served my entire life for the glory of House Tempest.
Indeed, as my father and the others have told me, and as I have observed myself. I cannot remember a time without you.
Much is made of the strength of one's bloodline. But from what I have observed, it's more than that is required to make a great leader. Some are born with the strength to lead, and some are not. Sometimes this flows along a bloodline, but it cannot be relied upon. But I will say, since you were very young, I have seen signs of that spark, that strength within you. And as you go to face these challenges, do not let you self-doubt. You have that within you. No matter what you may think, no matter what anyone may say, I see it. Strength, the future of House Tempest. It is in you.
My thanks, Sintra. I certainly... He actually, you see, for the first time in probably quite a long time since he was younger, he actually breaks a proper smile towards you. For many years since he kind of started getting older, he's been quite stoic, very, very reserved, but he smiles genuinely this time. I would be polite and say that I pray you are right, but in truth, my confidence is unwavering. Whether I come here to die or not does not matter. What matters is I have been sent to fulfill the trials for my house, to become heir. The only thing I have ever dreamed of. I will accomplish this, or I will die trying.
Sintra looks at him, and her eyes glow bright red as she looks at him, through him. Her expression changes slightly as her eyes glow, and then her smile widens, and you see the uneven spread of her teeth. She's obviously not completely human. She seems to have more teeth than you ever realized, and some of them are quite prominent, but her smile seems to show them all. Do not doubt yourself, Prince. You will succeed. As long as you enter this place, believing in yourself, feeling your strength, there is no doubt in my heart. This is the fate. You are the future of House.
Well then, let us go see fate fulfilled. Thank you, all of you, for accompanying me. And yeah, with that, he'll turn and press on into the citadel, into the throne of bone.
And as they walk through, Sintra slows and looks to Magnus, looks to Milna, and says more quietly, "The prince's strength is only strong as the loyalty of those who follow him. She looks to Magnus and to Milna for confirmation.
Milna nods quickly. I will die for the prince.
You will live for the prince.
She smiles. Of course, I will do my best.
And Sintra looks over at Magnus. Is Magnus muted?
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Now we can.
I was saying, like, does she say anything?
I think she just looked at him for now.
Sintra looks to Magnus for confirmation that he stands firmly behind his prince.
He does the, whatever salute they do, right? Like fist to the heart, or fist to the brow, or whatever the salute there is. Stoically and quietly. I think he served long enough not to have to say anything.
She nods at him with confidence, him being a veteran, someone she knows rather well. Gives him a knowing smile.
He does a curt like bow, sort of, like his head comes down, and then back up.
Sets her pace to meet Magnus's, to meet Milna's as they walk in step behind the prince.
As you walk in through an open gate, we see the dark stone from inside and burning braziers. You see a huge throne almost immediately as you walk in to your left, made of skeletal remains. There's no one in it. But it's quite an eerie place, and you just hear a small scraping on the ground as somebody walks down the hall towards you. And as you see the image of this young girl walk towards you, she has this large plate, or more like a tray, a silver tray. Basically, it's lined in gold, and there's 4 goblets on it. Masters, I am Julie. I am to serve you while you're here. Please, drink, have refreshments, rest, before my master comes to speak to you.
Very well. Will we have quarters, or should we wait here?
Here for now, please.
Very well then.
Verification, this is the cloister?
Yes, this is the cloister.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, I
yeah,
meant
it
as-
yes,
as
it
regular.
is. Mhm.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you.
She sits the tray down on a table, and I will be back soon. And she lowers her head and shuffles off.
Well, like say, hey,
Yes.
is there food here? Is there food anywhere? I'm starving.
Yes, I will bring you something.
Protein.
Of course, I have protein packets. I will bring. And
Right, there's no meat in there's no meat in this world.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there could be. I'll bring
Yeah.
something back to you.
Thank you.
She kind of gives Gensric a quick look and then shuffles off. She moves pretty quickly off, leaving the goblets there for you to drink. But soon after, another person arrives. He's wearing a long black robe, and he carries a staff with him, leans on it heavily. Click, 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 as he enters. Which one of you is the prince? Not that I should have to ask, the man says.
Yeah. Prince Gensric steps forward and... Would it be appropriate to bow in this circumstance,
Yeah,
I
sure.
assume? Yeah, so he does so. Prince Gensric the Younger of House Tempest.
Good. You are here for your trials. I am eager to see if you succeed or not.
And I am quite eager to succeed.
Tell me, young prince, what do you think of your house? What is the greatest strength of House Tempest?
He considers this for a moment, a hand on his chin. We have many great strengths that I have observed in my time. But I would say, above all, it is our demeanor, our wisdom, our ability to judge the situations that we are presented with aptly and react.
Wisdom. Cunning. Good. This will be your first test, then. We will see if you succeed. If I see you when the light shines through the windows again in the morn, I will return then, and we will speak, if you are alive.
Very well.
If you have questions for me, you may ask them now.
Indeed. Of course, I will need to be directed to the space for these tests, but will I be informed of the text itself, or will I be thrown in blind?
It depends on the test. You will know when it is upon you if you are wise.
Shall we wait here then, or will I be directed?
You will wait here.
Very well.
Enjoy your refreshments. He smiles, and you see his teeth are stained red, oddly. He turns, kind of got a hunchback, and limps out of the room, leaving you there by yourselves for a while.
We're by ourselves,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
Magnus will, because the food hasn't arrived yet, sort of get up and look around in the room, and then state again, quietly for him, but probably normal voice for normal people, and state, what's to say, as he looks around, this isn't the trial, and he wants to see if you can survive in here or the rest of this weird castle.
He certainly did not say it wasn't, and I would not assume so.
I'm just saying, caution might be useful. The trials might not start with the ring of a bell.
Of course. I certainly expect as much.
I apologize if I was stating the obvious, sir.
Not at all. Your insight is valuable as always, Magnus.
Sintra had been raising the cup to her lips, but at Magnus's words she looks down at the cup. For a moment, swirling it around, sets it back down.
Yeah, it's clear that Gensric has not even really given more than a glance to the drinks that have been brought to him.
Cannot trust anything here to be as it appears. And she sets her cup down. She starts to look to the future for any hints that she can get for the first chapter.
Yeah, you can roll it if you want.
Check the exits and maybe tell Milna as well, like, check for, hidden access vectors or hidden attack vectors.
What was your,
Nice.
how many levels did you do 2 again?
I just did, yeah. Yep. So then,
Yeah.
What am I rolling?
Yeah, what did you want to do?
Career, I guess. She's
Yeah,
just
sure.
kind of trying to see what's going. Getting a clue.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Milna's following Magnus's direction and looking for some secret passages or entryways or various other
Yeah,
things.
you both find various passageways this way and that, going to. You really have no idea. It's very dark in those ways. You'd have to explore them more to know. There are shut and sealed doors as
access way.
well.
Okay. Okay, so this room is really not safe.
Oh yeah, there's many ways in or out.
Yikes.
I'll whisper you something, Slip.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gensric is pretty much standing against one of the pillars that supports the room, presumably, kind of watching the area around him, kind of taking it all in, contemplating what the trial might include, what test this will truly be.
Sintra is staring off into the distance, and her eyes is always glowing very, very faintly, glow brighter and brighter until they flash. And she kind of comes to herself, panting slightly. And then she walks over to the prince. She puts her hand on him again and, Prince, I know that a compassionate heart beats within thee. That may be the greatest weapon against thee in this trial.
As you're speaking, the girl, excuse me, Lord, I would wish to speak to you if this is possible. It won't take but a moment.
Sintra looks at the prince and then nods and says, remember that not every injured bird has. Some may bite thee. Bite the hand that feeds them. And she nods. And then lets him go off.
Yeah, he kind of looks to her and
Yeah, go ahead.
quietly says, I may have kindness in my heart, but that does not mean I am not able to steal it. Do not worry. And he kind of steps to the side towards Julie, without going all that far. What is it you wish to discuss?
I'm afraid to speak it in front of your associates, Master. It is a secret.
A secret that would endanger myself were they to know it, or...?
But it could endanger us all, truthfully. I only wished for your safety, my lord, hoping that you could take me from this place.
In what regard?
But your life, of course. These tests that they will put you through, there's no way to escape them, there's no way to pass them, my lord.
And why is that? Have they engineered this, or...?
Yes, of course. They wish to bring all the great houses here to destroy their progeny.
And why exactly would that be the case?
I don't know their reasons. These priests, these voice of the cloister, I don't know. I urge you, let's leave this place now while we can.
Well, I certainly have no intention of failing my house.
Then we should leave.
To leave would be to fail. These trials have been sent. I have been sent for these trials by my father, Lord of House Tempest. My duty is to complete them, whether they are meant to be impassable or not.
My lord, what will happen to your house if you fall?
My house will live on one way or another, with or without me. But if I do not succeed at these trials, or I do not at least attempt them, then our house will have no heir, regardless. This is the way of
But
things. Whether I enjoy
why
it or
do
not.
they select who is the heir? Should it not be your choice and your father's choice? Please, I only ask you, take me away from this place.
And are you permitted to leave?
No, they'll strike me down if I leave.
Then what reason do I have to aid you?
Because I can aid you against them. I know their secrets. You could come back here with an army and destroy them.
You wish to upend the entire situation and cause a rebellion, then?
Yes, I don't know. I simply believe that you would be safer away from here, and me certainly so.
Then you are simply mistaken, for I did not come here for safety. If I wished for safety, I would have denied the test in the first place. I came here knowing full well that I could die before I even faced the trials.
I do not understand why so cruel to me.
It is not a matter of cruelty, it's a matter of fact. And the fact is that if I were to leave, they would be just as likely to kill us on the way out.
She frowns. Very well, can I at least stay close to you while you rest? I will bring the big man his protein.
Do as you please. But know that my guards are vigilant. I have no problem with you, but I do not know you. Danger is abound, as you yourself have claimed. Do not expect kind treatment.
I am simply the servant of the Cloisters, my lord.
Very well, then.
Sh-
Stay as near as you wish, but keep in mind that Sir Milner here, he kind of motions in her direction, is quite eager to defend me.
I mean you no harm, of course. I will go and bring your feast.
Very well.
She looks back at you one last time and goes back off again, leaving you all by yourselves once more.
It's up to Gensric and asks him if there's anything he should know about. Because I don't think we were able to overhear.
You heard. I would say you heard.
Yeah, Gensric pretty much didn't give her the opportunity to get separated from them. So.
Case Magnus would say that's a bad idea. She's unknown.
Indeed. I do not know what her purpose is, whether she truly believes this, whether it is true or not, but it matters little. We've
Who's the
come here to
quickest of
complete
us?
the trials.
It's me asking as a player. Sorry, let me phrase it this way: who would Magnus know is the most deft with their hands?
Oh,
Is that Milna or Gensric?
Milna.
Probably.
I would say Milna.
Milner. Oh.
She's a
Milner?
she's genetically modified to a
Ah.
killer, basically.
Magnus would sort of like motion her with his hands to come over, and then whisper to her and Gensric to test the reactions of Julie while she's there. Simple things that they've done to mess with people, for example, is to drop things and see how fast they could catch them. That kind of stuff, where you might notice if someone's physically trained, as an assassin, for example. To observe their body language, their reaction time, that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
What I'm trying to describe? Like she's for example, she's refilling your cup, but you drop it. If she preternaturally quickly is able to grab it or hold it, or you throw something at her, make it look like an accident, and see if she's more than she appears to be physically.
Very well. And if you pose this to him, he'd respond in kind. Very well, I suppose there is no harm in it. But keep in mind, if she were, as you may suspect, I imagine she would be trained to keep such things hidden.
Because, of course, my lord.
Yeah, you guys are kind of sitting there pondering, and you hear this just blood-curdling just yell from the way she had went, just several times, and then nothing. Silence.
Miona's hand immediately goes to her pistol as she looks down the corridor.
Gensric turns, well then, draws his lightning rapier. I suppose this may or may not be the trial. Let's proceed with caution.
Be wary, Lord. So,
As your command.
In formation again.
You hear the from the capacitors charging from the battery pack.
Yeah, it starts revving up. And this hallway is pretty well lit with fire on braziers on the wall as you head down, and then you just see it's just this hugely long corridor. And as you kind of make your way down there, that's where we'll end it for tonight. And maybe pick it back up sometime soon.
Yay!
awesome. Really fun setting.